It's time for another blistering report from the front lines of the cultural war for a constitutional America. And now, here's your host, Charles Benninghoff.
Republicans in the House and the Senate are lining up with the Democrats and the very fake news media to attack America's new Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. The claim is that Jeff Sessions perjured himself during his confirmation hearing. This accusation is laughable because the exchange between Jeff Sessions and Senator Al Franken, a Democrat from Minnesota, is out there for the entire world to see. Sessions clearly did not lie under oath, and I'll show you the video that proves just that in a moment, along with some real bombshells that I'm going to drop on the Democrats. But can you believe that Republicans are ganging up on the Sessions with the Democrats and the press as if the allegations were true? I can hardly believe it. Congressman Jason Chaffetz, House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, and Senators Marco Rubio and Lindsey were the first ones out of the gate to attack their fellow Republican, Jeff Sessions. We need to push back against this fake news so hard and do it right now that the RINOs in the House and the Senate will think twice before trying to eat one of their own once again. I'll tell you how you can take part in that effort in just a moment. If you're tired of all the very fake news in this country, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date and stay informed with the truth. You find the truth on my channel. You don't find any fake news here unless we're reporting on what somebody else is saying. Typically, fake news from the globalists and their media lackeys. News outlets and Democrats are actually calling for the impeachment of Jeff Sessions, if you can believe that. The question is over whether Jeff Sessions had contact with the Russian government during Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Now remember, the Democrats will not admit that they got crushed in the election because their candidate, Hillary Clinton, is one of the most corrupt and dishonest persons in American history. She had numerous career-long contacts with the Russians. The globalist Democrat Party cannot accept the fact that it is hated and despised by freedom-loving Americans, and that after 8 years of Obama administration undermining the rule of law, we the people want real leadership and a return to the law and order that we used to know, not some sort of a lackey like the Muslim member of Muslim Brotherhood that the Democrats now have in charge of their party. Can you believe that? I can hardly believe it, but that's what they're doing. They can't understand why this makes Americans hate them. So, the Democrats are clinging to a false narrative that was created by Barack Obama, which is that Russia stole the election for Donald Trump. And now they're claiming that the Trump campaign, including Jeff Sessions, actually worked with the Russians to steal the election. As I said earlier, this is not just fake news, it's very fake news. Let's take a look at the so-called perjury of Jeff Sessions so you can learn all about it. Now, when you watch this clip, I want you to notice a couple of things. First, Senator Al Franken clearly does not appear to believe the allegations behind the question he is asking. So notice how embarrassed that Franken looks to even be asking these questions. The second thing to note is that Jeff Sessions is asked whether he had contact with the Russians as a Trump surrogate. What that means is while he was actively working for the Trump administration, or trying to get the Trump administration elected, or trying to find support for Trump to be elected as a candidate. He was asked about what he did with the Russians while he was working for Trump. Not before, not after. Now take a look at the exchange during the confirmation hearing and pay close attention.
These documents also allegedly stated, quote, there was a continuing exchange of information during the campaign between Trump surrogates and intermediaries for the Russian government. Now, again, I'm telling you this as it's coming out, so, you know. But if it's true, it's obviously extremely serious. And if there is any evidence that anyone affiliated with the Trump campaign communicated with the Russian government in the course of this campaign, what will you do?
Senator Franken, I'm not aware of any of those activities. I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians, and I'm unable to comment on it.
Now, of course, Jeff Sessions met with the Russian ambassador in 2016 in the course of his duties as a United States Senator. This is part of the normal, everyday routine for a United States Senator. They're supposed to go out and meet with the ambassadors of the countries around the world to establish good working rapport, good relations, let them know what they can do to help America, what they can do to help the other country, so long as it's within the law. But that is not what Jeff Sessions was asked about, as you saw. Sessions was asked if he met with a Russian government representative as a Trump surrogate. Sessions did not lie or perjure himself, and that's an absolute fact, and I'll say, period. If a meeting with the Russians in the course of their duties as a senator is a problem, then the Democrats should all step down as well. They meet with the Democrats and the Russians all the time. Here are some pictures of the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York. Schumer certainly does look chummy with Vladimir Putin as the two of them were meeting in New York City. Doesn't that look that way to you? It does to me. Or how about Senator Claire McCaskill of Missouri? She offered some of the harshest criticism for Sessions because his meeting with the Russian ambassador, and claimed that she had never, and I repeat, never met with the Russian ambassador because that would have been a horrible breach for her as a senator. Except then, 5 minutes after she said that, Twitter users reposted her tweets bragging about multiple meetings she had with the Russian ambassador. How do you like that? I mean, these people have a memory shorter than, well, I don't have to mention that, but certainly is on the verge of Alzheimer's disease. There's no doubt about that. Maybe Claire McCaskill should step down. I believe she should, because she's a lying witch. Now, in all fairness, we do have evidence that one United States senator made a secret deal with the leader of Russia in order to undermine the presidential elections in the United States. But that was in the 1984 election, and we only know about this because the Russian government declassified these documents after the Soviet Union was dissolved. Do you know who that was? What Democrat senator it was? You will never guess. Let me tell you, you won't believe this. Senator Ted Kennedy, the Democrat from Massachusetts, made a secret deal with Yuri Andropov, the General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. Kennedy guaranteed Andropov that he would get American television network to give Andropov prime-time slots to speak directly to the American people in exchange for the Soviets helping the Democrat Party to undermine President Ronald Reagan's 1984 campaign. So, we got one of the old stalwart Kennedys being a little bit chicanerous right there, enough to have been assassinated or executed by firing squad in a former time when law prevailed. This was a flat-out treason by Kennedy, working with the communist Russians to try to influence the outcome of an American election. And you got to remember, and if you don't remember because you're not old enough, let me tell you, at that time, Russia was ruled by a horrible communist government. It's called the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. If you think back about the Beatles song, which maybe you've heard, back in the USSR, well, that USSR was a Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. You had no freedom there, just exactly like you have no freedom in North Korea. Communism has no other way to control people except through subjugation and slavery. So what Mr. Kennedy was doing was he was dealing with the slave masters. The Republican Party back in the 1850s was formed to defeat Democrats who were all slave owners. They've continued to be slave owners. They only think in terms of slavery. They only think in terms of enslaving you, the American citizens, to their socialist schemes so they could control you, put you on welfare, make you eat at their trough. Well, it looks to me like the Democrats are accusing Jeff Sessions of committing the very sin that their own party's guilty of. This information was in the KGB archives for decades, and America only learned about the Democrat Party and the Kennedy's treason in the 1990s. Or how about one of the most treasonous collusions with Russia at all? Ever. This is even more astounding. Nobody puts the letters together. They don't put the clues together. I do. Here's a clue you won't believe. Do you remember when Russia recently invaded the Ukraine? And everybody in the United States was all aghast about that the bad old Russian bear had started taking over Ukraine. Well, that's outrageous that they did that. But you know what? They did that, I allege, with the complete consent of the Democrat Party. And in fact, they were working together, the Democrat Party and Russia. And let me prove it. Think back to 2011 when Barack Obama was caught on an open mic talking to Russian President Dmitry Medvedev.
My last election, yeah. After my election, I have more flexibility. Yeah, I understand. I transmit this information to Vladimir.
You remember Medvedev? He was a president at that time. He was Putin's best buddy. So Putin talked Medvedev into running for president when he couldn't. And then when he could run for president again, Putin did. And Medvedev retired. And now Medvedev is his number 2 man. So they flip-flop back and forth. So when Barack Obama was talking to Medvedev, it was exactly the same thing as him talking directly to Putin, this horrible man Putin, Christian as he is. That's why he's horrible in the eyes of the Democrats. Well, immediately after that election, and Obama got elected, you know what happened? Russia invaded the Ukraine. Did America raise a finger? Did we do a thing other than just a skirmish here or there? Talk bad about them? Not a thing. So the Democrat Party, as you can see, has a long history of colluding with Russia in secret and without the approval of Congress, without the approval of the American people, and often without any legal authority to do so, and always under the cover of secrecy. And if that mic had not been open, we would never have known about the collusion that Obama did with Putin's lackey, Medvedev. So here we go. Listen to some of the Republicans who are attacking Sessions. Forget about the Democrats for a moment. These are Republicans I'm talking about. Representative Jason Chaffetz from Utah said Sessions should clarify his testimony and recuse himself. I asked why. What a defeatist Chaffetz has turned out to be. House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy said the same thing. Well, he comes from a marginally Republican district in California, or Mexifornia, if you wish to call it by its new proper name. So I don't think he has any political standing better than Paul Ryan, who himself is a globalist. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina says Jeff Sessions cannot be trusted to investigate the Trump administration and called for a special prosecutor to be appointed to investigate the president. This is from Graham. I can hardly believe this. Senator Marco Rubio of Florida also called for Sessions to recuse himself from any Russian hacking investigations while he had no basis to do so. One quick thing to note is that Rubio and Graham both lost badly to Donald Trump in the Republican primary, and I have no doubt they're both still at night with their head on a pillow crying themselves to sleep. And that's what they should be doing because their politics are atrocious. I think these guys are a bunch of hypocrites. And I think on analysis, you'll agree with me how hypocritical these people are. Where were the GOP calls for a special prosecutor when Eric Holder sold sniper rifles and machine guns to Mexican drug cartels? Where were they? And then where were the calls for a special prosecutor when Loretta Lynch waddled out onto the tarmac at an Arizona airport to have a secret off-the-books meeting with Bill Clinton while Hillary Clinton was under FBI investigation for leaking classified information to who? To Russia, through her illegal home server. She set up a home server so easy to crack, it was absolute personal liability. So Russia cracked it, and you know what? She may well have gotten donations to her foundation for it. But now, all of a sudden, the GOP grows a spine and calls for a special prosecutor to investigate a man like Jeff Sessions, who has the highest possible level of integrity. Give me a break, please. Hillary Clinton's closest advisor, Uma Abedin, had direct personal and family ties to the Muslim Brotherhood terrorist organization, and the GOP never thought to ask Loretta Lynch to step down, let alone appoint a special prosecutor to take over the investigation. We need to push back against these Republican traitors and let them know that we are not going to stand for this traitorism. They need to support Jeff Sessions because he's an honorable man. He's an honest man, and he answered that question honestly under oath. To imply otherwise is pure politics, fake news, and a lie. The GOP needs to quit attacking Jeff Sessions and stop being cannibals against the Trump administration and get back to work. It's already the month of March and the Republicans haven't even repealed Obamacare yet. They haven't appropriated any funds for the wall. They haven't blocked terrorists from sneaking into America, posing as Syrian refugees. They haven't accomplished anything yet, but they have time to get their names in the headlines by attacking Jeff Sessions. We need to let these Republicans know that they are going to pay at the ballot box if they don't shut up about Jeff Sessions and get to work for the American people. You can send that message to the Republicans today, and I hope you will. Go to our action page, and on our website you'll see how you can send personal letters to Congress telling them to support Jeff Sessions. Let them know as a taxpayer and a voter you're repulsed by them sucking up to the fake news media and the Democrat Party. Please do it today. On the next screen, Bob Mallory will have instructions for you to let you know how you can get to our action page, how you can easily complete our form and edit our letter if you wish, and you can therefore become your own action hero. This is Charles Benninghoff signing off and wishing you freedom, fulfillment, and God's many, many blessings.
If you're on our action page on our website, use the form next to the video screen to select a program and send personal letters to Congress. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, click the icon appearing now to find the link to our action page, or check the video's description to find the link. Speak out today.